This video covers my favorite task, receiving money. After you send an invoice or statement to a customer, the customer will presumably pay you eventually. Of course, if you're a retail store or cash business, you use sales receipts and you get paid at the time of the sale. You don't receive a payment against a sales receipt. Watch the video on handling cash sales for more information. This video is specific to recording a partial or full payment received against a customer's invoice or statement. To follow along, open the working file called landworks_payments. You've invoiced a customer and you've just received a payment. What do? You can open the Receive Payments window. There are all sorts of ways to open this window, from the home page, from the customer's menu, from an open invoice, and from the Customer Center. But since we're on the home page, click Receive Payments. Choose the customer from the Received From menu. If this payment was for a job, you would pick the particular job. But this one is for the customer Scott. Quickbooks shows you the customer's current balance and lists the open invoices. In the Amount field, type the payment amount. This was $360. And then press Tab. Change the payment date if you need to. And choose the payment method. This payment method has been pre-selected by QuickBooks based on the customer record. In the check number field, type the check number or reference number. This is optional, but it could come in handy later if a customer questions which check paid for which invoices. If you selected another type of payment method, the name of the field changes from check number to reference number. This menu, Deposit To, appears because I unchecked the preference to always use the undeposited funds account to hold the payments. And you could choose another account using this menu, but I'll leave it at undeposited funds. Since this company file has the preference turned on to automatically apply the invoice amounts, QuickBooks applies the payment to the oldest invoice first, and a check mark appears next to that invoice. But you could change the invoice selected. For example, if the customer wrote the invoice number on the check, you should select the invoice the customer specifies. And to choose a different invoice, you could click Unapply Payment, and then choose the invoice the customer intended. But let's go back to the way it was, Unapply Payment, and then click the oldest one. And then click Save and Close. So where did the money go? Let me show you. In the chart of accounts, undeposited funds, and there is the amount you just received. Let's go ahead and close this, and close the chart of accounts. If, when you're recording a customer payment and the amount doesn't cover the full amount of the invoice, QuickBooks asks you how you want to handle the underpayment. So open the Receive Payments window, and just for variety, let's choose it from the Customer Center. So click the Customer Center and choose the customer. And for this one, I'm receiving a payment for a particular job. So you could double-click the invoice, and on the invoice, choose Receive Payments. So here, the amount of the invoice was $270, but the customer paid $170 instead. So change it to $170 and press Tab, and enter the optional check number. So here you can see that QuickBooks has entered the payment of $170 and indicates that there is an underpayment of $100. When you choose Leave this as an underpayment, QuickBooks keeps the remaining balance for the invoice in your accounts receivable. Occasionally, you may have to use this option right off the extra amount when you know you won't be able to collect. When you save the payment, QuickBooks displays a window where you choose the account you use to track the write-offs. If you have a bad debt expense account, you could use that, but this is a good place to use my favorite account, which is Ask My Accountant. But let's cancel this, and let's leave this as an underpayment. You can quickly view the customer record by clicking this button if you want to contact the customer to ask about the partial payment. So we're ready to record this payment, so click Save and Close. Here you can see on the invoice that there's still a balance due, $100. This outstanding amount would also show on the customer's billing statement.